that passion forward. So I want to thank you not just for being here, but then working as a team so that we can carry the legacy.
Thank you for being here.
Because that's what it's about.
Honor seat.
My friend.
My name is Trinwin. I have the honor of serving Mayor Wu and the administration and the city of Boston as the Chief of Workforce Development and Worker Empowerment. We have a lot of staff members and partners, which I know since I was, most of you since I was a kid working in the city. Just to raise your hand to thank you for all that you do for putting this event together, for being our partners no matter what. So just to raise your hand, all our staff to raise their hand, just give them a round of applause. It's not easy for working here, so and then I also want to congratulate everyone and the partners, even though those who are not here to celebrate the launch of Dig Lit 2.0 and engage in important conversation on the impact of digital literacy in Boston. As you know, Mayor Wu firmly believes that all Bostonians need intentional and comprehensive access to thrive. Obtaining the adequate resources, education, and skills training is essential to building a family and home here in the city of Boston. We roll up our sleeves, that's what the mayor believes in, and we work for the community of the residents of Boston day in and day out. Since Mayor Wu took office, she has prioritized skills training and career pathways for Boston's youth and working families, because it is workers and families that drive the engine of the economy of the city of Boston. Make no mistake. And it's because of that ecosystem that we all build and you all build with residents and families and communities that employers come here. We have the diverse talent that sustains the economy and make the businesses thrive here in the city of Boston. Today's event reflects the ongoing commitment. It's all of a collaborative strategy to strengthen the connections between adult basic education, ESOL, workforce training, and employer engagement. We cannot do this without employers. So we want to thank all the employers that are here. I know that Brett Jacobson, manager of Distributed Generation Eversource, is here. And then also YMCA is also a great employer. All of our nonprofits is an employer. NECAT is an employer, trainer, resident organization. So I want to thank NECAT, and they are the serving breakfast for us, and those apple turners and those muffins.
We love NECAT.
And let me tell you, we have worked with NECAT on a bridge program that provides job readiness, ESOL, and ABE to really weave in the system to make sure that NECAT has the workers that they need for the hospitality industry. We also have Zachary Thompson, who's a senior engineering manager for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, who are one of many employers who are here, and you will hear from them at a later point with the panelists. We know that presidents and CEOs of major companies are important to making a leadership commitment to hiring. But we want to work with hiring managers to roll up our sleeves, to create curriculum, in a work environment within a training program, and ABE, ESOL integration, so we can get you the workforce. So while we love the leadership and CEO commitment from employers, we ask that we have contact and direct engagement with your hiring managers so we can develop that curriculum and that continuity for your talent pipeline, because that's what we're about. But I just want to recognize a few other folks who are already here and the partners. YMCA for their generosity for hosting us and for its role as an ABE and training provider, offering valuable ESOL classes, training, and programs for immigrants at this very site. So thank David Shapiro for YMCA's partnership in this work. Do It for digital equity efforts and support for today's event. FCT for playing an instrumental role in helping to put today's panel together. And our panelists, both employers and training partners, who will share their insights. And then also the community leaders here today. But most importantly, we are here to thank Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley for her fearless leadership since I was a kid and a young woman, immigrant woman, as I work into a leadership role here in the city of Boston. Her leadership and advocacy have made it possible to expand access to digital literacy so that more Boston residents have the skills they need to thrive in a rapidly changing labor market. Digital literacy is no longer optional. It is essential for success in nearly every industry and job. The Mayor's Office of Workforce Development connects Boston residents to job training and education that lead to good jobs with fair wages. This is not about a handout program. This is not just about a job. It's a career pathway so that every Boston resident can access the democracy and American dream in this great city. As part of this effort, DigLit helps workforce development programs strengthen their digital literacy training and align the digital skills employers expect. By providing targeted support and resources, DigLit ensures that residents are prepared for the demands of today's economy. So I want to not only thank Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley and her team, but I want to acknowledge that money is important, don't get me wrong. And the $1 million over a few and several consecutive years are always important, and my partners will agree with that. But what's really powerful is that it was a mechanism to bring partnership together. We were able to use this $1 million over 1 year, 2 years, and 3 years, so a total of $3 million. Hopefully there will be more sustained commitment. But each of those, that $1 million seeds a leverage of $17 million of city workforce funding. And just the 20 agencies that we were able to provide technical assistance and partnership, convening the power of employers, participants, training, community colleges, because we don't want the graduates of the training programs just to finish with a certification. We want them to think about higher education, post-secondary education, so that they'll have options. And with that $1 million, we were able to leverage 20 powerful partnerships with DESE, who's also here, Suzanne is also here, averaging about $11 million of investments, occupational training, and over 10,000 of other residents. So I want to thank Ayanna Pressley for her commitment. Know that with the seeds that you seed within the city of Boston and with our strong partners, will thrive. So without further ado, I want to introduce and bring up Ayanna Pressley to make a few remarks, followed by a panel of employers and training programs to let you know about the results of the impact that we'll have way after when the grant is done. Thank you, Ayanna.
Thank you. Good to see you. Trent, seeing you up here is not only a reminder of how long we've been doing this work and doing this work together, but we both wear readers now. Grateful for your leadership. It is good to be home, y'all. It is good to be in the MA7. It's good to be in Boston. It's good to be in East Boston. at the YMCA to celebrate the power of matching investment with a clarity of vision and purpose. Thank you to Mayor Wu, the city's Office of Workforce Development, the U.S. Department of Labor, Employment and Training Administration, the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, Adult and Community Learning, my colleagues at every level of government, and all the community members that are here. But most importantly, thank you to the partner organizations and the current and future participants in the Digital program for giving all of us hope in this moment. Today is a celebratory moment, the culmination of years of work by the city, the partner organizations, and so many here today. At a time when Republicans in Congress are weaponizing federal dollars and using every tool they can to obstruct funding for critical programs like these, it is important to take stock of our victories and highlight the important progress that we've made. And that's why we're here today. Today is the very best evidence for the transformational power of what I like to characterize as cooperative governing. Programs and initiatives that are community-driven, government-endorsed, and invested in. Ones that are rooted in the lived experience of the individuals and families that stand to benefit from this type of workforce development opportunity. And ones that empower community to build on the skills and expertise they cross the threshold with every day and ask, how can we amplify your gifts? And what do you need to thrive? And how do we give our adult learners, our lifelong learners, the tools to compete in the digital age? Now, we always talk about, well, allegedly we live in a meritocracy, and that education is the great equalizer. But that's only true if everyone has equitable access and can fit it into the real-world considerations that all of our families are managing. It's not always true if you build it, they will come. It requires intentional outreach and partnership to make a program like Digilit successful. Now, despite my Republican colleagues' opposition to really every damn thing, to investing in communities, Marvin gave me an amen on that, to investing in communities and people across the country, the sweat equity, the commitment of our providers and families to not settle for the status quo. And the sense of community in this room, I'm asked every day, what is giving you hope? And Pastor Broderick, I just keep returning to Dr. King's words, where do we go from here? Chaos or community? And we have to continue to choose community. And that's where I'm finding hope. That's where I derive a strength in rooms like this one today and throughout the Massachusetts 7th. Regardless of the chaos and callousness, we continue to push back daily. The chance to see the impact of this community project funding and the 30-plus community projects that I've delivered to this district, $39 million in federal investments and community project funding writ large. Been humbled to steward through the appropriations process since 2022, have been some of my proudest moments as your Congresswoman. You know, in doing this work, you don't always, you're sort of paying it forward. And you don't know if the impact of your work you'll even realize in your lifetime. And so community project funding has been incredible because we do get to see that palpable, tangible impact and what is possible through cooperative governing and good government. The Massachusetts 7th is home to innovators, community builders, do-gooders of all kinds, and it is an honor to continue to do this work with you. From small business supports through BECMA, ACEDONE, Amplify Latinx, to infrastructure investments in Chelsea, Everett, and Somerville streets, to industry-leading substance use disorder programming through Dimmick Community Health Center. These are some of our community project funding investments. And now today, the expansion of the Digilit initiatives this morning. All of these investments are generational investments. Pastor Broderick has heard me tell the story a number of times about my visit to a reservation, organizing for the first time with indigenous people on an environmental injustice issue. And as I was leaving that reservation, one of the elders said to me, Congresswoman, when you leave here, be a better ancestor than descendant. And those words and that call to action has never left me. To be a better ancestor than descendant. Digit will have generational impact, an enduring and generational impact. This program and the federal dollars that we've delivered for it will help improve the quality of adult education and workforce development across our city, and it will help our city deliver the essential digital skills our residents need for today's evolving job market. So congratulations on the launch of Phase 2 of this incredible program, and thank you for inviting me to play a small role in making our aspirations real.
Thank you so much, Representative Pressley.
Sorry. Okay.
Well, who can follow that? I'll tell you who. Two of our implementing partners. So I'm going to be telling you who's speaking next. So Lancer Lane from the YMCA of Greater Boston was one of our implementing partners from the first round. She's going to come speak to the impact that this type of project had on our program. She will be followed by Ari Brands from St. Stephen's Youth Programs, who is a current partner. So she's a subrecipient of the funds that we're implementing with this project. So I'm going to call up Lancer next. And really what we'll hear now is what these dollars do at the program level. So thank you, Lancer.
Morning.
Good morning. Okay, so I'm Ayanna from the YMCA of Greater Boston. It's so great to see all the familiar faces here, our partners from the state, from the city, and also all the friends from the communities, and also, of course, our peers from our Y Association. So thank you, Brooke, for inviting me to share our stories about the Vigilant 1.0. Just to tell you a little bit about our program. So we run Adult Education Program, ADE, and thanks to the support from DESI, we offer free ESOL classes to immigrants here in Massachusetts. So in 2022, when this digital literacy initiative first established, YMCA of Greater Boston was very fortunate to receive this funding. As a new director back then, I was so proud to implement this initiative. I remember 2022, if you remember that, a time when COVID still deeply affected our program. All our classes were online. Our teachers were busy adapting to virtual instruction, and our students struggled to use Zoom and Google Classroom. It was a very challenging period for programs like us. But it also exposed two major gaps in adult education. One, limited or the lack of skills in teaching and learning. Two, unequal access to technology. So I remember when I first joined our team, I discovered that 1/3 of our students didn't have a computers at home. Many lacked the stable internet access, and they required a lot of support from our staff just to attend Zoom classes. Then I was introduced to this digital literacy initiative. As a part of the initiative, we worked closely with World Education. Our coach is here, Sherry is here, thank you so much for your support. So we developed a needs analysis and also developed the action plans to better support our staff and our students. So we used the funding to offer tech workshop for our teachers, open computer classes for our students, and also we purchases devices for those who are in need, and also tried our best to integrate digital literacy into our ESOL curriculum. And the results were transformative. In fiscal years 2022 to 2023, our enrollment surged by 20%. Our students' retention rate soared and students advanced. They entered the workforce, they joined the job training programs, and also they pursue higher education after graduating from our program. So, all made possible by breaking the digital barrier, technology barrier. So when the technology barrier was lifted, a whole new world opened up. So today I'm very proud to say that all our teachers, no matter part-time or full-time, they are tech-savvy educators. They even initiated a tech-sharing group within their own, okay, so they share AI-generated technologies such as ChatGPT and also Perplexity, something they never talk about here. Right. And then our students thrived. They use all kinds of digital technologies. They use Canva to create slideshows for their presentation. They use, call Annie. Have you heard of that? Okay, to help them with the mock interview. And also they use ChatGPT to help them with resume writing and cover letter. So, I am so happy to share all this impact with you, but I also want to say something more. Last October, I ran a survey with 284 new students in our program. The results showed that 40% of them still needed technology support. So as we are serving more and more students, we also require the ongoing support, like initiatives like this, DigLit 2.0, to keep our students being more and more successful. Okay, so that's why I'm so happy to witness the launching of the DigLit 2.0 event here, and to know that the expansion of this initiative and our workforce team are now benefiting from this initiative. So again, I'm so excited to be here to celebrate the launching of the DigLit 2.0, and on behalf of our program, our team, and our students, thank you so much for making everything possible. Thank you.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Ari Brandt. I'm the Director of Organizing at St. Stephen's Youth Programs. Thank you for the opportunity to speak, as well as for the funding that is allowing us to dive into our digital literacy journey. SSYP's mission is to promote equity in education, employment, and opportunity for young people and their families and communities. For nearly a decade, our Parent Mentor program has empowered Boston's parents and caregivers by training them to work in classrooms in their children's schools. They participate in weekly trainings on early literacy, community organizing, mental health, and so much more. Many of them had never considered a career in education before this, or that they could work in a professional job in the United States with limited English, but they quickly discovered a passion for working with children. We found that each year, 40% of our 40 parent mentors were getting jobs in schools, including in roles as bus monitors, lunch monitors, and paraprofessionals. But parent mentors wanted more. They asked for educational opportunities to advance their careers in schools, so we created Ladders of Opportunity. Participants enroll in English classes, high-set prep, our in-house paraprofessional prep program, or the lead teacher credential program at Urban College that allows them to earn free college credits in Spanish and prepares them to work as early childhood educators. I just have to say, Tuesday I found out that 100% of our UT participants pass their second course with A's and B's.
Oh, okay. Wonderful.
Yet, digital literacy remains a major barrier. When Urban College provided all participants with laptops, most people didn't know how to use them, and they struggled with basic functions like navigating class platforms, submitting assignments, or using Zoom. Our frontline staff, and shout out to Ursula right there, our frontline staff are all graduates of our parent training
Oh,
program,
wow.
100%. And they've been asking for more digital skills too, because they need to support their participants better. With DigLit funding, we're closing this gap. We're planning a 3-step digital literacy program. First, hiring an instructor for a train-the-trainer model with our frontline staff. Second, with support from World Education coaches, integrating digital literacy into parent-mentor programming. And third, offering targeted training for participants who want to improve their skills even more. This investment ensures our graduates become competitive, career-ready educators. I want to end by sharing a short story. Recently, we were planning a conversation with our parent mentors about the impacts of the current administration's cuts to the Department of Education. One of our staff waved a printed paper at me. Look, Ari, how's this? As I read through the neatly formatted list of the top 6 impacts, something was off. Where did you get this information? I asked ChatGPT. I share this not to say that there's no place for AI, but to caution us that these digital tools can be dangerous without knowledge of how to use them. I asked her permission to share this story, and she wanted to add, "This shows how vulnerable we are to digital platforms. I learned you need to verify." Digital literacy isn't just about computer skills. It's about the ability to parse real information from fake information, which is especially critical to a thriving democracy in these times. Thanks to this initiative, our parent mentors will be better prepared to lead, teach, and succeed. Thank you.
You probably thought you were done with me, but I'm not just...
Never.
I'm also doing a halftime show. And I'm quite tender.
Never.
I'll try.
This is my friend forever. I'm so happy to see you.
So 20 years ago, she told me she wanted to be the mentoring city councilor. So as I heard parent mentor, I thought about what a mentor she's been to all of us on the journey. We've all been watching you with admiration.
Love you, brother.
And respect. So we come into each other's contact when we're in service, and it means everything.
Yeah.
I want to introduce the panel. The Congresswoman talked about community and hope. And she mentioned Reverend Broderick, who is a proud board member, one of my 35 bosses, so tell him I did a good job on the welcome. But I think also bearing witness and testimony, right, is an important part of community. What happens when we get everybody on the field, and that's what this morning's about. So we're going to have an all-star panel come up here. I'm going to introduce you, the moderator of the panel. And I also, just as I listened to Ari and Lancer, I thought a lot about, again, we talked about synergy earlier, the sort of, when we think about digital, we sort of think about removing humans, right? But the power in this of supported pathways is when skills, hard skills like digital skills and digital tools are matched with human support, right? And that's what these nonprofits are providing, and that's sort of the magic and science of what we're going to hear about. Our moderator, Priyanka Sharma, is the VP of World Education. You've heard a little bit about this morning. For over 3 years, she's been the vice president there, and I think she's been there for a little over 19 years. Is that right? Sorry, you started when you were 15. She's the founder of Digital US, and she co-founded a national initiative focused on advancing digital equity. So she's providing local and national leadership. Director for the National Education Literacy Resource Center, which leads regional collaboration on policy and developers and practitioners. And she provides leadership on readiness and pathways and careers all over the country. So she's going to lead us and orchestrate this amazing panel. And we'll ask you one more time. And then we'll let you get into from folks in our
Praise the Lord, Sarah. So congratulations. That's fantastic. Yeah, of course. I'll let you go. Good. Thank you for being there. Something I did have it happen. You know, somebody was in the bathroom one time in DC. Yeah, tried to assault me. Yeah, yeah. Not recently. Yeah, yes.
Making sure that we're updating what we're teaching and moving forward in technology. And
Oh, it's all coffee.
again, I just want to thank the
That's okay. I was seeing if any of it was water. I'll get a tea when I leave. Would you like a hot water? I'm a tea drinker. I was just looking for hot water. I'm good. No, thank you.
had over the past couple of years, and it's been our pleasure to be partners since 2022. Today, I'm gonna, stop talking soon. But as you heard from her, the Digital Literacy Initiative, has deepened its impact occupational training providers to ensure that the participants gain digital skills they need, not just to complete training programs, but to successfully navigate the modern workplace. And today our discussion will explore how we can continue to bridge the digital skills gap, and most importantly, foster digital resilience, and ensure that all workers, regardless of industry or background, can thrive in today and tomorrow's digital economy. So let me begin with introducing our esteemed panel. I don't know how we want to do this, but we have Mark Frieden, Manufacturing Manager at Life Sciences. Hi, Mark. We have Eric Jacobson, Manager of Distributed Generation at Eversource. Dr. Marvin Russell from the Dean of Academic and Student Affairs at Franklin Cummings Tech. Rob Lowell, from Senior Director of Workforce Development. Come on over, Rob. Macy Lee, Director of Workforce Development from Boston Medical Center. Corin Stoyanov, I'm so sick. I'm quite sorry. Director of Adult Career Training from Justice Start. And Dr. Johnson, Senior Engineering Manager from Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. All right, let's dive in. And we have one mic, so there's going to be a lot of sharing. It's scary happening over there, so we'll make this work. So over the past 5 years, I want to start, I think here, thank you all for being here, and we have a carefully curated combination of employers and training providers in the panel, because I feel like a lot of the training providers are also employers, so we want to bring in both of those perspectives. And I want to start with some of you who are, chiefly employers, but do a lot of workforce readiness programming within your programs. As you think about the past 5 years, we talked about the critical digital skills divide that exists in the country. There has also been shifts in the nature of work in the last 5 years. I want to start with asking you about the biggest changes you've seen in job roles, especially for folks who don't have a college credential. Also around AI, but digital technologies in general, as there's more and more interaction between, jobs and the expectation of digital skills. And do you see certain roles disappearing, evolving, or emerging? Let's start with you, Zach.
Good morning. So I found working for a cancer treatment and research facility that digital skills are truly essential. So more specifically, in my department, in the building engineering, energy management, and facilities management world, it's become crucial to have those skills to complete the task. So, for example, typical office skills, such as sending or reading email, entering time cards, or using the Microsoft Suite programs, allows us to communicate with our peers and accomplish tasks. For energy management specifically, employees need to be able to download digital invoices, process those invoices by entering utility usage, utility costs, and then send those invoices to our accounts payable platform for payment, all of which is through a digital platform. For facilities management, it's become common now for facilities such as ours to use something called building management software, where technicians or mechanics or building operators use this software to monitor mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems and see the status, make sure they're operating correctly. From there, they can see maybe something's not working correctly and then respond to an issue and fix the problem. Also, that same effect is a work order platform where, say, building occupants need a light bulb changed or there's a leak and those mechanics need to respond to those problems, but they need to be able to access those work orders again through a digital platform. And then to drill down a little more specifically in my department, the engineering and construction world, almost all meetings we have, I'd say 95% of my meetings are all virtual. That sometimes results in too many meetings, but that's a different story. But and it allows for flexibility. So we work with consultants, contractors, subcontractors, and the virtual meetings allow to work with people's busy schedules. As far as AI, our facilities use something called fault detection software, and basically this AI program monitors that building management system that I mentioned 24/7, 365, and it'll flag any issues with the mechanical systems, create a list, perhaps put a cost saving associated with it. So to repair this problem, you'll save this much annually on utility costs. Building operators again need to access that separate platform in order to rectify those issues. So I would say that, again, specific to AI, it hasn't, at least in our facilities, it hasn't replaced employees, but it's helped them improve their day-to-day operations, help them address issues that they're not.
That's great. It's interesting to kind of hear all the different kind of platforms and interactions that are expected from workers with these digital platforms. It's something that has been new in the past 5 or so more years. Macy, we'd love to hear more from you from the Boston Medical Center, like that perspective around the proliferation of the expectations around digital skills and comfort and fluency from like a healthcare perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And to build off of Zach, there's so much digital literacy that is needed before we even get into a role. All of the applications are online. Orientation, onboarding, everything's through email. Everything, requires maybe a login, a password that you have to remember, and the password is different when you're an applicant and then when you're an employee and all of that. And from healthcare, it's a completely different landscape at the current moment where many appointments are online. You have your reminder online, and you even have your test results. Your medication is online through our Epic line chart. And so it is required both as a patient, it's required as an applicant, it's required as an employer, and an employee, and even all of our even flu compliance, you have to log into a portal and that. So everyone needs to have some level of digital literacy to even work in healthcare, and even, no matter what your goal, no matter what your level.
Mark, you're all the way over there, so it'll take us a second to get to you, but it would be great from your perspective to share how your jobs are evolving from your point.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Happy first day of spring. So, for the last 30 years, I've been in manufacturing, between semiconductors, now life sciences, and biotech. I've seen numerous changes over the years. The hands-on skills are still present. We still rely on our training partners to help provide those for us. But things have changed. Now, that's only half the job. So the team would go into the bio suites. They will manufacture the product. The last 3.5 years, one of the products that my team manufactured was a gene therapy that cured multiple myeloma. The second half of that was coming out and doing the computer work for our financials so we could get paid. So, very important. Also, the landscape has changed as far as the job ladders. Things things have moved to more automated systems. With those, they present their own unique issues, also opportunities. There are now automation technicians that are needed to help troubleshoot problems, to get things back on track. In manufacturing, time is money. You cannot have the system down. You need to be making this product. The manufacturing technicians know the problems on the floor better than anyone, better than being a manager. So when we have the opportunity to promote them into these automation roles, it's a win-win for everybody. But they need the skills to be able to get there. So again, we have to rely on our training partners to help prepare them so when they come in, they can hit the ground running. So things have changed where it's opened up more opportunities, not just, more problems. So it is a very exciting time. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Fred, I was wondering if you want to share a little bit from an Eversource perspective around how jobs are shifting, and also, how are you supporting your current teams differently?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, thanks to the Y, right? All our kids know how to swim now. Feel great that we just wrapped up the 7th grade basketball season, so feel right at home with the above my head. Thanks for the invite. Eversource, we have a broad spectrum of type of workers. A lot of guys in the field, a lot of hands-on type of work, and obviously, the business side as well. Both sides impacted by technology. Utilities in general kind of have a unique relationship with technology. One of the biggest risks to us is cybersecurity. So any type of systems that we decided to test or roll out, including AI, definitely has to go through a lot of validation. That's like the biggest risk to all of us right now is someone breaking into our utility systems, whether it's electric, water, what have you. So it's definitely a huge topic for us. On the day-to-day level, I agree. You have to kind of come in the door with some sort of base knowledge of navigating your way through getting online, opening up systems. There's a ton of training we have systems that are systems change and get updated, but you definitely need to have just that base comfort level of at least having the confidence I can figure this out. Systems are systems, applications are apps. They're all a little different. I can never tell you, hey, learn this and you're going, right? You need to have kind of a broader confidence, I would say. So I've seen a lot of people without a lot of training kind of just roll up the sleeves and end up, because of interest in it, become one of the, one of our stronger team. So that's where we are. Did that answer the question?
Yes.
I have more questions for you. So we'll hold that thought. So from an employer perspective, we've kind of heard there's this theme of increasingly move from just digital skills as just skills, but like integrated ways of thinking about digital skills from a perspective of digital fluency, and you mentioned digital resilience, as I talked about before. And so my question is more for the training providers is, in this changing landscape, so the needs of the employers, the nature of work shifting, how are you responding to that from the way in which you're preparing learners and workers in your programs? So Brett, if you want to move Rob, my first question, the question is for you. We'll start with you and move to Marvin and then Corin around how has the training design and how has the work changed from your perspective, especially with AI, but also this need of preparing workers with this level of digital comfort and fluency?
Sure. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So at the YMCA, we run several workforce programs. David mentioned one that's happening right down here. It's all the great food. But we also run a medical administration, the second is property management administration, and the third is our early childhood apprenticeship program. And I think what we have found is it is becoming increasingly important to, when we're working with employees with job training programs, integrate the curriculum that we already have so that it works for the employees. I think that the first question asked, do we see jobs shifting at the line? I think David alluded to that. We're a people business where I think AI is going to come into play. Is we're going to have to figure it out and find out where it's safe to use. When we were on our first call, I likened it to Y2K, and I think I'm not the only one that got this one. Thank you. But we all had to look at our organization structure, make things not turn off at 2000, and I really feel like with AI, we're going to have to do kind of a landscape of assessment for all of our organizations to find out where it fits in and then where it doesn't. I will just add that in many of our programs, we have folks that can't turn a computer on, and we have folks that can build. And it's coming up, and I'll talk about this later, a structure that moves everybody along at their own pace. Because we all know that we're not comfortable with technology, we're not as effective in our job, not even that nice sometimes, right? And so it's really, really critical.
Yes, what's happened at Franklin Cummings Tech is really interesting because we had to retrain our instructors, right? Because all of a sudden, now AI has a lot of technologies, ChatGPT, and we had to really train our instructors on how to help students use ChatGPT, how they use the AI technology, how they cite it properly. And so the training had to happen with our faculty. We also had it in a situation where we have a computer technology program, a software development track, and we realized that the entry-level jobs in the software development track were taken by AI technology. And so we had to pivot a little bit. But what we realized was that now that everything is online, now that everything is digital, everything has a network, it's easy for anyone to hack into those networks. So like what Brett said, cybersecurity is critically important. So we are now training in cybersecurity space where we're making sure that our students understand how a hacking situation can happen, how to solve that problem, and how to help the companies realize their potential. One of the things is that many companies are looking for people with experience in that, and so that forced us to open up our own clinic on campus where students are able to actually work with, thanks to our partnership with BETMA, work with those organizations to help them become a consultant and show them how vulnerable some of their networks and systems are. So the students are really getting that hands-on training, and thank you, Becca, for being a part of that. I don't know if anybody from Becca was here, but anyway. So that is a great opportunity too. But I think what's critically important is that when companies are looking at using these new platforms and AI technology, we also have to understand that some of our students, we have justice involved students. So some of our students, they're going to have some articles that pop up because of the AI that shows some of their cases that they were convicted of. They went to prison, they served their time, and now they're out and trying to change their lives. Some of these AI technologies excludes them from that and doesn't allow them to get a seat at the table for an interview to impress these folks. So what we've had to do at the college was we've had to take that extra step in helping students realize what is out there, what is behind their name, what is out there, and what do they need to do, and how do they communicate that to the employer to help them land the job.
Hi everyone. So my name is Bryn, and I am here representing Justice Start. And we have a biotechnology careers program that trains folks to get into the life sciences. And I think something that I've seen is really this need to emphasize experiential learning. I think we have a lot of colleagues, nonprofit partners in here, we're very used to doing a lot with more modest means. And the program has been around for more than 30 years, which means that we've benefited from a lot of donations of older equipment, kits, simulation technologies, and with the current landscape, that's really just not going to cut it anymore to give folks the experiential learning opportunities that they need to be attractive candidates for these jobs. And that starts from even their basic laptops that they get with us during the program. You know, they can't be using old 10-year-old laptops that we've gotten generously donated from companies, but it's not going to really cut it anymore with what we're doing with students. And, you know, we need to be working with them from day one on the basic skills that you've heard about from everyone up here, you know, navigating Zoom, you know, even just attaching files to email, some of the basic stuff that we can sometimes take for granted as really important digital literacy skills. But then it goes beyond that. In the biotechnology world, again, old equipment, simulations kits, that's not going to work anymore. We were very fortunate to get a very large Mass Life Science Center capital grant to help outfit our lab with technology that actually models what folks will see in the jobs now. So we have new equipment that is connected to the cloud that folks can do data downloads from, that they can be actually integrating that into the learning curriculum in a way that really gives them those powerful skills to kind of bring to employer partners. And I think another piece of this that Brett touched on before is that confidence level, right? Even if we have all of this beautiful new equipment, they're going to go to a lab that doesn't have that exact same piece, right? Or there's going to be a different portal for entering your hours or something like that. So it's really also about giving these folks that confidence, that digital resilience, so that they know that when they see a new piece of equipment, when they see a new piece of software, a platform, a new way of downloading their data or uploading their data, that they're going to, you know, reach deep and be like, okay, this is similar to something that I learned in my training, and I feel like I'm going to handle that.
Thanks for that. And I think that also speaks to the evolving nature of digital skills and that the need for those transferable skills and comfort in shifting between platform to platform, context to context. And from an employer perspective, like since this is something that we're still in the midst of all the change brought about by interacting with digital platforms, technology, and AI, how has this impacted or how is this shaping your hiring and recruitment practices, especially for a lot of the workers we're talking about here, who may or may not have a post-secondary credential and are being trained and have a lot of lived experience through other sources? Are there specific technical skills like critical thinking, AI literacy, digital communication, or other soft skills like adapting to new technology? Like digital resilience is an idea, it's a soft skill, and that we're talking about. And have those become more important in your evaluation process? Who wants to start with that? Mark, do you want to start with this one?
So when I'm assessing a candidate, I have to really focus on the technical skills. This is a heavily regulated industry. We really have to make sure that the people that we're bringing in know what they're doing. So I don't have the bandwidth to be able to also assess their training gaps as far as digital literacy, their soft skills courses, their perhaps the soft skills, the professionals in the workforce. I really need to focus on what they can do in the bio space. So I tend to rely more on my training partners, and with that, I've seen a great improvement by reaching out to
Sit on the ground.
are biased in
Okay.
terms of, making sure that people might not
Oh, no, no. Just a couple.
be the right fit for roles. We also just created an AI governance board too that is now putting more structure and more guardrails around how employees use AI and what's needed or not needed in terms of that. I also want to reiterate that many roles in healthcare now require some level of digital literacy in terms of, Zoom, as Zach mentioned, scheduling telehealth appointments, and so that some roles that never required the use of Zoom or telehealth.
Oh,
now,
like in about 5-7
do.
minutes,
So,
yeah.
as a workforce development
Oh,
department,
of course.
we're also
Oh, this is
working, and have rolled
very
out
good for me to hear.
internal trainings
I'm
for
on the
government workers who,
AI
might be
bipartisan task force in Congress, and this is helpful for me as well.
Teams or using PowerPoint
Yeah.
to help with their professional development and just be a stronger performer in their role.
So from my experience, again, when hiring people, my focus is certainly more on evaluating their skills, specifically what role they're filling. However, I have seen that there is some necessity to have digital skills when you're doing that. For example, in my career, my first few jobs, I walked in with a paper resume and say, "Can I have a job, please?" And that's certainly shifted where now applying for a job is, at least at Dana Farber, certainly online. You have to be able to submit a PDF of your resume to a portal. And from there, as employees are hired and brought on, it's assumed that they're able to navigate to our online portal where they can enter their, say, benefit information, what benefits they want to select, banking information so we can send them a direct deposit for payment, requesting time off. Again, I used to walk to my boss and say, "Can I have Monday off or whatever?" But now you have to do that all on a digital platform on a calendar. So certainly when a new employee is brought on board, human resources will help them navigate those specific platforms that might be unique to Dana-Farber. But after that, there are always resources, but there is some assumption that the new employee will be able to navigate things if they need to change their information, their benefit details, things like that. So it just really emphasizes that new employees really need to be able to know how to navigate those things.
That's in terms of thinking about how, as you work with your teams, how has sort of that made its way into the hiring and recruitment process?
Yeah, I'm not really on the front end of that, but I have been kind of thinking as I've been listening to a couple thoughts. So, at the high school level, back when, at least when I was a kid, we used to have woodworking classes, and photography, typing, accounting, and things like that. The schools that I'm aware of don't really have any of that, and this would be a sweet spot for kind of putting those type of programs back in. A lot of getting a credit card and learn some stuff about life, but different topic. I think as a launching point, learning how to do all the basics. A lot of schools try to do, but probably not all of them. They might not have the resources, but it should be almost like this is part of getting through high school, is to be able to open up Teams, attach a document, things like that. I have two kids at the tech school, didn't answer the question.
No, you Brett, your point directly leads into the next part of this conversation, which is it's really critical, not just for cost efficiency purposes, but also for learner experience and workforce, readiness. There's a cost of training, right? So the idea is that how do we make it time, cost, learning efficient for our learners, our lifelong learners. And I would love to sort of ask you all to share how do you what are some of the wins from successful collaborations between employers and training providers? I mean, I know we can probably start with with Macy, you, and thinking about how you have been working with the body for many years, and how do those successful collaborations over the course of time, because I think it takes time to really understand the strengths of each other's and needs as well to cater programming accordingly. Back in 2023, YMCA launched a patient healthcare fellowship program. We piloted it with 10 patients who selected employment as a need on their prize screener. So during their regular appointment with their family medicine doctor, they said either verbally or through our thrive screener that employment is a barrier to their health. And we said, wait a second, we're helping with food, we're helping with medication. As an employer, are we helping with employment for our patients? And it sort of got the wheels moving, and we had met with probably 3 or 4 different training partners and landed on the Y because of their just in-depth knowledge of our patients and the needs and the wraparound support that they give individuals in their program, and just the ability to collaborate on this brand new initiative that we had never done before. We didn't quite know how it would be received by the fellows, by the hiring managers, and it was a great partnership that we even did it again this past year and graduated 9 patients from our fellowship that are all employed at YMCA. Many starting next week.
Okay,
So,
that's great. What's awesome?
And then I can just describe the implementation of the program, because I wrote down Agile twice, so I think it's worth saying. It truly was an Agile partnership that led to people who have never worked in their life, never, still working at YMCA. And so if you can hear the pride, that's the reason. But the way that it worked was once we had shared understanding of content and needs, YMCA culture, YMCA health culture, all of those things, we would be able to weave that into our program. Macy and I were partners in crime. We did shared interviewing right from the start. We did shared weekly, we call them weekly performance reviews, where we meet with the trainees, we meet with Macy. We would talk through any decision that needed to be made. We were able to make that collectively, because from the Y's perspective, we were trying to build excited and motivated people to be successful in the healthcare industry and also fit the culture with YMCA. So it was a partnership right from the beginning, and hopefully we'll have 2 more good jobs in the next week.
That's great. Thank you. Marlon, I wonder if you want to share a little bit, because I think as Franklin Cummings Tech, you work in very close partnership with employers to really impact the way in which learning happens within the institution.
Yeah, so we have instituted a lot of different programming. So first, we launched our co-op program, where we partnered with several different employees by program and basically created a year-long work at those organizations, and the employers really get to see how our students are performing while they're taking classes with us. They are working with the co-op director and co-op manager who's partnering with the organization to make sure that they're meeting the goals. And then, we've actually developed opportunities for the students to get feedback and really understand how the students are performing and what they need to do. We also have our industry advisory board that helps us really think about how do we look at the technology that's happening and what type of technology that companies are using today. So that helped us really frame on how the technology that we should be training our students on. And then, National Grid has started an opportunity for students to work with high school students and college students to get into the clean energy space. And also Eversource, we've worked with Eric Logan at Eversource to help us develop a training program for jobs that they're going to have a huge demand for in the next couple of years. So, these are the types of partnerships that we are developing and making sure that there are any programs that we're starting or launching or making sure that our students have a job after they graduate from our program.
Thank you for that. I think as we're sort of wrapping up the conversation here, we have spent some time really understanding in depth the work you're doing, all of you, in different ways and the impact you're having. My last question, one of the last questions, is around then thinking about what are the public policy changes out there or actions, external actions, that you believe would make the biggest impact in making you be even more effective and making a larger impact. And this is a question for everybody. So jump in. Macy, you want to start us off?
BMC has made a shift, and I'm sure most employers have to move away from a very strict education requirement for most roles. And what's great about the hospital as well is we've made that shift to also have a lot of roles that require lived experience. And one barrier that I'm sort of coming across is that some of these individuals are lacking maybe digital literacy or professional etiquette, or they've never worked in an office setting before, and so how to draft an email, how to probably going away from phones, but to Zoom, but just sort of meeting etiquette as well. And so the Y has been just an amazing partner to incorporate that into a lot of the trainings, but would love to have a one-day professional training, job readiness training, and hopefully, we might be able to bring somebody on our team that will be able to teach that. But just sort of a standalone job readiness training would be helpful.
Corbin, do you, from your training provider perspective?
Sure. So the folks in our program really span a lot of different backgrounds, a lot of different ages, and I think something that we find is, our younger folks, especially those that grew up in our school systems here, do tend to have higher levels of digital literacy skills. We also serve a lot of older immigrants that may be coming with fewer digital literacy skills to start with us. So we really, are starting with a wide range of skills, and I think something more broadly that I know is a big initiative in the city of Boston and in other surrounding cities as well is this digital equity push. And I think, really doubling down on that and making sure that folks in our communities before they even get to us as workforce development providers have already had access to technologies, to reliable internet access, to troubleshooting support. I know at Just to Start we have our own in-house digital navigator who's a graduate from our IT training program, and I think that level of support to residents in our community will help continue to build those foundational skills that are